Are we good? Okay. Thank you for coming to our keynote address. I'm Dr. Angelina Dayton, known as the VR Lady. This is the Students in VR conference and a keynote address. And I would like to thank Educators in VR and the American Indian Resource Center. Are you getting feedback? Okay, can somebody mute everybody in the audience?
Yep. Angelina is muted.
I think I couldn't hear anything.
Okay, I'm unmuted. Okay. Did anybody hear anything from the beginning? So this is Chloe Dayton, and she will be interviewing Betty Frogg as part of our keynote address for students in VR. And so I'm going to step off stage. Chloe has prepared, and I will be here just in case you need any help. She's 11, but
Austin Joseph.
Okay, here we go.
Hello, I'm Chloe Dayton, a citizen of Cherokee Nation. Thank you for coming to the Students in VR. Also, thank you to the sponsors, Educators in VR and American Indian Resource Center. This is Betty Frogg, a national treasure. I'm going to speak in Cherokee and English. Do digital.
Betty is muted. Okay, there you go.
Do digital.
Okay, you dag dog don't.
I said, what's your name? And she said her Cherokee name. Halagohi Tadeo Haska.
Iskidatiat ulohast.
I asked her how long she's been teaching, and she said more than 5 years.
Ost.
Hashatega.
Well, hello there.
I asked where she was from or where she lives, and she said,
What?
Well, hello.
Huh?
And
Can't
actually,
hear
the
you.
word what? Can you hear what I'm
No.
saying?
I'm out of water.
First the mute button.
We can hear you.
here.
Okay. Okay. Wahilla means the community I'm from. Wahilla, it's actually means eagle. Wahilla. So, and I've lived there most of my life.
Galeelig Chedo.
Wato ayos ko kalayali hanjiketo.
I said that I was happy that you were here, and she said, thank you, I'm happy that you're here. What's it like to teach at Cherokee Immersion?
To teach in the language is like I really love it because we're actually revitalizing our language, and we're losing speakers just about every day. And to use young children, for them to want to learn the language is really makes me happy, or anybody that wants to learn the language. It's fun. It's a challenge, and because most of our students do not have speakers at home, and that's where the challenge comes in, because we get them to speak Cherokee when they're at school, but when they go home, to speak English. And I teach everything: math, social studies, science, reading, writing. I teach all that in Cherokee. And when the when I get the second graders, they already know their syllabary. And they can read and they can write, and I just enhance their reading, writing, and spelling. And that's one thing that I really enjoy is hearing the language being spoken by the students.
What have you done in VR?
Oh, VR. I was introduced to VR a couple of years ago by the VR lady. She brought some headsets in, and the kids loved it. One child that I had a VR set at home, and he was basically teaching the rest of them what to do. And we had she was introducing the paint, and the young man was writing his syllabary with that paint, and he wrote everybody's name in Cherokee and syllabary. He also was writing some of his spelling words. So the VR is really, really fun for the kids, and I would like to use as a teaching tool. And I think we could actually put some of the language on here and also some of the lessons. So I'm really, really looking forward to doing some of this stuff. I myself are learning. And to the young people, it's easy. To me, it's a challenge, but I love challenges. And I want it used to teach the language. And I think this is where education is going, is the VRs. And I've been told we could put a lot of stuff on here for the kids to learn the language. And it's just something that's it's new to me, but it's not new to the young people. So I think it would be a good tool to use in the classroom. Like today, we were doing distance learning, and we could use the VR sets from home, and we could learn, and I could teach the language. So I think this is something I think all schools should have, and I would love to have the VRs in all the classrooms. And I would love for some of the teachers to come in and learn how to use the VRs. And like I said, I'm still learning, and it's something I think that would be really, really good for students and teachers to learn how to use.
What do you plan on doing in VR?
Language. Use. We have posters, and they have pictures of all the plants, all the trees, the birds, the fish, reptiles. I think all that could be put on the VR. And also we could put the verbs. The students really, really need to learn the verbs like walking, sitting, running, eating, just stuff like that. I think just some short lessons using the VR would be really, really good. I think it would enhance their learning.
Chloe, did you want to, we have some people in the audience. I know that you said you wanted to spend some time asking questions from the audience. You want to do that next?
Sure.
So go ahead and ask, say, does anybody in the audience have a question? Anybody in the audience have any questions? You can.
I do.
I have a question.
Okay, we'll let him go first.
Hi, everyone. My name's Ethan. Most of you probably know me. One of the things that I do, I'm based out of Memphis, and we have a huge Cherokee site called Chuckalissa. And one thing that they're doing is they're using virtual reality to preserve some of the archaeological findings. So how do you foresee virtual reality being used to help preserve Native American history?
Oh, I think some of the stuff that they've already started right now, one of the schools that work with the American Resource Center, still a high school, they've already built a Cherokee village. And we're basically trying to help fill the village. There's a guide in there, And this guide will go in, guide you through the village, and we're going to in the huts try to place a artist in there and let them demonstrate how they do their crafts, like basket making, bow making, pottery, flint knapping, just like something that you would see at the Cherokee Heritage Center in Tahlequah, Oklahoma. And I
Interesting.
think I think that's a very good way to preserve everything that we have. Also, remember, Ethan, that you said it was, did you say Cherokee, Chuckalissa?
Yes.
I thought, I actually, I could be wrong. I thought Chuckalissa was
Sorry, it could have
Choctaw.
been Choctaw.
They have their, I think it's Choctaw. But I could be wrong.
Well, I
I
have.
remember it being one of the two specifically. So
Sorry, Ethan. I didn't mean to talk over you. I have a question, and it's kind of a devil's advocate question. What is the value of preserving these languages, and how will VR really make a difference in that preservation?
There's a lot of tribes in the United States that have already lost their language.
Mm-hmm.
And preserving our language is, if we lose our language, we lose our history, we lose our culture, we lose everything if we lose our language. So I'm a big advocate.
And how's VR going to help that?
VR is going to help us because the kids are interested in stuff like this VR. And if we can put things that are interesting, like our language, our history, and teach them our culture, when you learn language, you got to learn all that too. Because if you don't learn that, then you're just speaking. It's just it's just something they all go together.
And then to follow, I agree. To follow up on that, in teaching language, and I'm looking at VR in general, but it can apply otherwise. What's one of the biggest lessons that you've learned in this process?
Oh, the biggest lessons I've learned is how you can take something like going and have that, ask that child, what kind of animal is this? They can answer you in Cherokee. Ask them what color it is. Ask them what size it is. Ask them if it's big. Ask them if it's small. Because we have words in Cherokee. The Cherokee language is very descriptive. If they don't know the name of the animal, they can describe it.
Oh, wonderful.
You are just, this is preserving language, and the child is also learning. And this is something that they can visit just every day, to go into the zoo and say, hey, that's Fladaji, which is a tiger. And they can tell us what color it is, because this is something that they're going to keep, especially learning, using the VR, because this is something that I never dreamed I would be here, to preserve the language. And to me, this is awesome. And I'm an older Cherokee, and I want to learn this so I can teach the kids, so the kids can see this. Because in VR, the kids can go anywhere. They can go out in the woods. They can learn the trees. They can learn plants, animals, squirrels, rabbits, deer. Instead of just hearing it, they can actually see it. In a classroom, they can't do that. I think language taught out like that is something that would stick with these kids. And as far as verbs, you know, we can do people walking, swimming, eating, just, we can create it for the kids to learn. And I think, like I said, using VR, it's going to help stick with, they're going to stick with the language.
I love it. Thank you. I am such a fan. Just keep going. It's a beautiful thing. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Any other questions?
Betty, I have a
Yeah.
question. It's Angelina. I'm wondering if you could talk about the need for technical job training in Cherokee Nation, and how learning with new technology can help Cherokee Nation, because we're preserving the language, and talk a little bit more about how the two kind of go together.
Ooh, I really think the two go together. It's like one, learning the VR, learning the, it's just, you're preserving. You're also, we're going to need people with technology, a knowledge of technology, and these kids are learning that part too. And so I noticed some high school kids, they're learning, like the Stilla High School, they built the village, the virtual village, the Cherokee Village. And working together, doing stuff like working together, which is what Cherokee people do, is work together. Which, if you were around Cherokee Nation, you see the word Gadugi, which means working together. And there's going to be a lot of jobs, I think, to help Cherokee Nation. Cherokee Nation has already got stuff like the technology. They've got websites and stuff. But using the VR, I think, like I said, it's more like you're there. And with the computer, you got a screen. But if you use the VR, it puts you in that place. And all these people that I've worked with, our VR lady, our VR man, they're wonderful people. And they're teaching they're teaching us and teaching the students. And these students, I think, are going to go on and go to college and learn more about how to be creative like this. So there's going to be a lot of job opportunities for the Cherokee students that are doing this. Miss Angelina,
That was a great answer. I thought we could ask Chloe. We didn't really prep her for this, but if she unmutes herself, what it's like for you, because you happen to be always in VR. You can be in VR whenever you want, and just kind of ask you, as an 11-year-old girl, what you think of. I know you read books all the time, although it's on your tablet. What you think of this technology as an 11-year-old Cherokee girl? Chloe,
What?
did you hear the question I asked you?
Yeah.
What do you think of?
Oh, what do I think of what again? Sorry. I'm
What
not
do you
entirely awake today.
What do you think of virtual reality as a kid who's growing up with this technology? I know you read books. It's not like you don't read. Some people think technology means not reading, and you read all the time digitally on your tablet. But what do you think of this new technology and how it helps you learn?
I think it's really cool. It's very, very awesome. You can hang out with people when you're lonely and an extrovert and want to hang out with people and things like that when they're not around, you know. They could be in Alabama and you could just hang out with them, you know. And also, you know, teachers can teach us when the virus that shall not be named is going around a lot, you know. Cool.
I think you really speak to the fact that young people don't have the boundaries that we have, that you're more of a worldwide student. And if you had the technology, it would be no big deal for you not to actually be in a classroom. Do you think you agree with that?
Yes, I do.
Now I'm going to look at the time real fast to make sure. I want to let everybody know that what Eddie and Chloe's father Andrew will be doing um, is that they will be in near a fireside, and they are going to teach the Cherokee language by spawning text and teaching you how to ask what things are and then describe them. And so if you'd like to learn a little bit of Cherokee, we invite you to come out, and Betty will be giving a lesson to Chloe, and then Chloe's dad will be there helping to spawn stuff. And so a lot of Cherokee teaching is intergenerational, where older people teach the younger children with the help of the parents and the grandparents. And in fact, I also want to mention that most of the teachers at Cherokee Immersion are older grandmas. They are not young 20-year-old fresh out of high school college teachers. They are older, more mature women who have had many years of mothering in the Cherokee culture, and so they're bringing both the language and a way of being and a way of living to the children. And so what they're modeling is kind of an intergenerational approach to learning language. So we hope the next talk will be starting soon, so I'm going to let us go. But after that talk, and I really encourage everybody to go to that talk, because Shannon will have 2 second graders in there showing you how to keep your headsets clean. Very important because of the virus that shall not be named, right, Chloe?
Yes, it shall not be named.
And after that talk, please come join us and learn about the Cherokee language. I'd like to again thank Betty and thank Chloe. Thank you all for coming, and we will see you. We'll see you at the next talk, and then in an hour after that. Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys, and you guys can go and practice in your room now. Any more? And we'll unmute everybody. So if you want to come up and ask some questions of them before you have to go, feel free to come up and talk with them.
Thank you.
Okay, and we'll help you guys get into the next environment too. Thank you all for coming. Who we got Jamie and Krista. Who else is all back here? Andy.
Quest users may want to mute themselves so the
Okay.
host doesn't have to do it. Yeah, that's
Can
where
you
the
hear
feedback
me?
comes from. Yes, Dr.
Okay.
Dayton, we can hear. Yeah,
Miss Betty, can you hear us?
Yes.
here we go. Yeah, perfect.
Are we